There's this bit here where it's Tony Ursula's wife who steps away. She's sort of embodying the spirit of Coco Schwab, who was Bowie's assistant. And then you see Bowie look and then look back at us. Which is like that moment in The Man Who Fell to Earth when he uses the mirror. You know, it's a strange echo of that. I'm going to read a little bit. It won't be too long, don't worry. Bowie's music offers us an outstretched hand and leads us to the darkest places, the loneliest places, but also the most tender places, the places where we need love and where desire is deeply felt. His music is not cold. It is the polar opposite of cold. Despite its massive and obvious sadness, Bowie's was the best of deaths. If there was ever the good death of a major cultural figure, a dignified death, then this was it. If death can be a work of art, a statement completely consistent with an artist's aesthetic, then that's what happened on January the 10th, 2016. Bowie turned death into an art and art into death. He didn't die a dumb rock star death at the age of 27, nor did he fade out in a fog of addiction, decay, and disgrace, leaving his fans to shore together the fragments of a ruined life. This was a noble death in the gift of privacy, with all of his fans listening to his new album. Of course, Bowie's work was about death from the get-go. Space Oddity, Major Tom drifts off into space, lucidly aware of his reduction to the commodity form. The papers want to know whose shirt you wear, and dies telling his wife he loves her. And so it goes from Bowie's Scott Walker-inflected cover of Jacques Brel's My Death, through Rock and Roll Suicide to We Are the Dead, from Diamond Dogs and onward, up to a terrific late track, You Feel So Lonely You Could Die, from The Next Day, a love song of hatred which ends with the words, Oblivion shall own you, death, oblivion shall own you, death alone shall love you. I hope you feel so lonely you could die. So there. My initial reaction to Black Star between January the 8th and January the 10th was very simple. It sounded like a Bowie album. I remember thinking simply and stupidly, this is really good. It was jazzy, sure, it was melancholic, sure, it featured new players, but it was in no way a total break with the past. For the fan, Black Star offered the mixture of novelty and continuity that's characteristic of so many of Bowie's best records. For those of you who are fans of Bowie, what you see in his music is often something will stretch out of one album into another. So station to station, the title track is the precursor to what happens on Low, We Are the Dead on Diamond Dogs. It opens up the sort of soul sound he explores on Young Americans, and so it goes. So continuity. I watched the video of the title track, Black Star, countless times after its release on November the 19th, 2015. I knew some of the tracks on Black Star already, like Sue in A Season of Crime and 'Tis Pity She Was a Whore. Albeit in different and I think inferior mixes, both these tracks are much more visceral and powerful on Black Stars. One lovely moment if you listen to Black Stars, I'm sure you have, where Bowie yelps a couple of times. Oh! He's so excited by the musical, by the band he's playing with. The harmonica part, and I Can't Give Everything Away, was a clear nod back to a new career in a new town. From Low, Dollar Days put me in mind of Thursday's Child from Hours. So continuity. So what did the knowledge of Bowie's death on Monday the 11th of January change? After dealing with the initial shock and writing a piece for the New York Times, I spent the entire evening of Monday alone, listening repeatedly to Black Star. It simply sounded different. And although this is an obviously absurd thing to say, it sounded like Bowie was speaking directly to me. The address of Bowie's voice seemed to have undergone a change of aspect. It sounded uncanny. The words that I've been listening to obsessively for the past 3 days suddenly had a different set of connotations. This is most striking on the track Dollar Days, and the searing and repeated lines, Don't believe for just 1 second I'm forgetting you. I'm trying to. I'm dying to. Suddenly, listening to the last words of that song, it was clear that I'm dying to also meant I'm dying to. T-double-O. The phrase at the beginning of the song, I'm dying to push their backs against the grain, resolves into the song's final words, I'm dying to. The words seem to undergo a shift in meaning as I listen to them. And other people have experienced similar things, I think. He too knew that he was dying, and he was telling us, I'm falling down. Bowie was also telling us that he wouldn't forget us, his audience, his fans, those who had loved him. I spent a lot of the previous 2 days trying to decode the cocktail of Anthony Burgess's invented language nadsat from A Clockwork Orange and the Polari London gay 60s slang on Girl Loves Me. You know, China so sounds so tiddy up this mouth check say, that thing. But at the close of the day on Monday the 11th of January, the message of the song was simple and crystal clear. Where the fuck did Monday go? Where the fuck did Monday go? And he died on a Monday. Did he know? We died on a but it was announced on a Monday, right? Once. Oh, right, so that's where Monday went. All right, so where the fuck did Monday go? But something had changed. Bowie's art would sound different after his death. Bowie's art would sound different after his death. This shift in meaning is perhaps clearest and most painful watching the video of Lazarus. It was released on January the 7th, and I watched it a number of times before his death. It was powerful. But after his death, the video became almost unbearable to look at. So let's watch it together.